This is not a test. This is your emergency broadcast system announcing the commencement of Phatts TV, sanctioned by PA Phatts and the non-genetically proven son. Any and all words have been authorized during the show. There is nothing off limits. Nobody is restricted from watching and participating in the show. It is a free-for-all. Commencing at the siren, any and all discussions will be legal for an extended period of time. Sports, politics, and any and all controversial topics will be talked about. You have been warned. May God be with us all.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Phatts TV on this Thursday night, October the 15th. Another beautiful day in our part of the state.
A little warm.
Joining me as always from his underground bunker, deep in the heart of some university somewhere, some liberal university, so he has to do this underground.
Isn't every university liberal?
Yeah, well, no. Not the religious ones, but you do not go to a religious university. Last I checked,
state.
I went to a religious university.
Yeah, good for you.
This is the non-genetically proven son. So yes, it was another nice day today. It was a little warm, but you know what? You may not remember this, but it was right about this time. I think it might have been October the 15th, about 8, 9, 10 years ago. It was a Saturday morning and we had snow.
Yeah, I remember that because we got like 2 feet of snow.
No, not that. No, we got about 3 to 4 inches of snow, and all the trees were flattened because it was really heavy snow. And then for the rest of the winter, we only had one other like 3-inch event, and that was it. That was a great winter. That was a great winter. So, got a lot to talk about tonight. Got a pretty big list tonight.
Wow.
But I want to start out, and I want this done by 8 o'clock because of the dueling presidential candidates that are on TV. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But I wanted to start out with a couple interesting things. So, perusing Facebook last night, and if you don't follow either one of us on Facebook, I don't know why, so you should be friend requesting us. But I came across a post on one of the local TV stations in the area who did an article on Susan Wild, who is a Democrat representative for the Allentown area, and how she did her mail-in vote. Okay? So, of course, I chose to comment.
Of course you did.
And for stupid stuff like that, I always give the same comment. The comment always is, and in more important news, about an hour ago, I had one hell of a bowel movement. Because that is more important news. Well, needless to say, I got a bunch of comments on that.
Did you?
Good comments. Like there was one guy that says, like, do not flush till you get a tape measure to measure it. And like, but at last check, it had 100 laughs. You know, this is the reactions. It had 100 laughs. It had 84 thumbs up. And it had one with that, oh, look. It had 5 hearts. And one with the face hugging the heart. Why would you heart that comment?
I don't know.
Do people love that I pooped? Like, why do you love that comment?
What was this about? Like, what were you commenting on?
Susan Wild, who's a representative in the House of Representatives down in Washington for the Allentown area,
Okay.
mailed in her ballot yesterday.
Okay. Oh.
So the local news station out in that area did a feature on her mailing in her ballot. BFD, big fucking deal.
Give the videography team a job go make a feature, a 5-minute feature on her mail-in ballot.
Yes. I mean, it's like, why? Seriously, why?
If I got told to do that, I'd be like, no. There's a lot more interesting things I can put out too.
Yes. But why did 5 people heart my comment?
Look who hearted it. Was it guys or girls?
It was both.
Oh.
It was both.
Well, maybe they have a poop fetish. I don't know.
I guess so. So, speaking of weird.
Okay. Well, you.
Yeah, well, true. I was talking to a friend of mine yesterday. She's a teacher.
Right.
She's a teacher. Not political at all.
Okay.
Not at all.
A lot of people that I know.
But she knows I am, obviously. Like, anybody who knows me knows I am. And she knows who I support. And her parents are very political, too. They support the same candidate that you and I support, which is good. But she's a teacher, so you know how teachers usually go the other way. Now, like I said, she's not political at all. She's never voted. She doesn't plan on voting this time. She doesn't like either candidate personally. She thinks they're both creepy.
Okay.
Which makes sense, in a way.
But say, sure.
But after she told me that, she said to me, my daddy likes Trump. Daddy. So I went, Daddy? Question mark? Daddy. Now this girl's an adult. She's a teacher. Daddy. I'm like, that's a little weird. She said her father makes her call him Daddy.
Oh.
Kind of weird. I could understand if she was 6, 10, 12.
You just made me uncomfortable.
Yes. Yes. It's like weird.
You know the trend going around on Facebook that says like, go look at Biden, see how many of your friends like it. Go look at Trump, see how many of your friends like it on Facebook.
Yes.
So I looked. Biden, 9. Trump, I don't even know. Because it just says 99 plus.
Oh,
I had to stab about 250.
Mine actually went above 99 plus. I had 100 and some, and I had 4 Bidens.
Oh, it just said 99 plus. Like it's way over that.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably like 200, 250. I'm like, well, yeah, that makes sense.
Yes.
People that like Trump will say, but I feel like the average Democrat doesn't like Biden.
Mm-hmm.
And they're just not going to vote, or they're just going to vote Trump because Biden's way too far left, or they're just going to vote Biden because they hate Trump.
Well, here's the thing: Biden is not really left.
No, but the rest of the party makes
the rest of the party is pushing him left.
Kamala Harris. Oh.
Kamala.
I heard my German teacher going on about how the Nazis are fascist and they're not socialists again, and how they're extreme right, and how the left side was... We were watching a movie, how like it was kind of political. How the left was the good side and the right was bad.
Oh, but of course. Again, you're on a liberal university. That's why you're in an underground bunker right now.
I would almost comment and be like, can you stop calling the Nazis right?
That wouldn't have been my comment. My comment would be, why do you consider them right when their party was the National Socialist Party?
Well, he explained once why they're not left, and I was like, BS.
Yeah.
They're not called the National Fascism Party. They're called the National Socialist Workers Party.
Yes.
Socialist.
Yes. Yes. So we talked a little bit about it on Tuesday's show, the Judge Barrett hearings, and
I post every day about how more senators are
right,
joining
and I believe we talked about Senator Booker on Tuesday's show. How he's in the embarrassing senators wing of the Senate for like even before the first question was ever asked, he said I'm voting no.
Yeah.
And again, you and I are not stupid enough to not know how the vote's going to go, but you don't say it before even the first question is asked.
Right.
But since then, we have 2 more senators joining the embarrassing senators wing of the legislature. By the way, the message board is live and operational. Should anybody wish to chime in. Who are these 2 senators that we are adding? We are adding Senator Blumenthal from Connecticut. And we are adding Senator Coons from Delaware. Now, why are we adding them to the embarrassing senators wing? They both said, Blumenthal yesterday and Coons today, they both called Judge Barrett a judicial activist. Judicial activist.
Okay, she's an originalist.
Please pull up Facebook, if you would, while you're there, and read my post from yesterday on Blumenthal where I explain this whole thing, if you would, for me.
I could do that. A lot of posts here.
Yes, I do tend to post a lot.
That's about Ice Cube.
Ice Cube, yes.
Kill himself.
Ice Cube is interesting. He asked both campaigns to support an initiative he was doing. The Democrats told him, come talk to us after the election. Trump said, yes. How much money do you need? And now he's being basically ostracized and like the left hates him now. Because he's working with the Trump administration.
For an initiative.
Yeah, so go ahead. Read what I wrote yesterday about Blumenthal. And we can say the same thing today about Senator Coons from Delaware.
All right. Senator Blumenthal, you are a joke.
You are a joke.
To use the term judicial activism to describe Judge Barrett, an originalist, is utter misrepresentation of her and what the definition of judicial activism is. Here's the definition of judicial activism. The practice in the judiciary of protecting or expanding individual rights through decisions that depart from established precedent or are independent of or in opposition to supposed constitutional or legislative intent.
That's it. There's more.
Here's the definition of originalism. The judicial interpretation of the Constitution which aims to follow closely to the original intentions of those who drafted it. Can you see how they are opposite, Senator Blumenthal? So no, Senator, she does not practice judicial activism. That is what your side does. And for you to suggest otherwise is embarrassing. You now join Senator Booker in the embarrassing wing of the Senate. I'm sure others from both sides of the aisle will be joining you.
And today, Senator Coons joined. Judge Barrett is an originalist. She wants to judge cases by the original intent of the Constitution. Now, people are getting that confused. They think the original intent of the Constitution, not including the amendments. No. The Constitution is also the amendments. Last I checked. Because, they're talking about, why are blacks going to be 3/5 again of a person? Well, no. Come on. Seriously.
And we could go to what you said about Chris Coons as well.
Go ahead. Read what I said about Chris Coons.
You can now add Chris Coons to the embarrassing senator wing. Again, originalist judges do not set new policies. They want the legislature to do that. Originalist judges are not judicial activists. You embarrass yourself for suggesting otherwise.
That it?
Yes.
That was a short one for me. So, yes. So, An originalist goes by the text of the Constitution. A judicial activist changes the Constitution to fit today. That's judicial activism. Now, you may agree with one, you may agree with the other. That's your opinion. And I'm in no position to ever tell you your opinion is wrong. Your opinion is your opinion. But you can't say that an originalist is a judicial activist when they are the exact opposite of each other. You make yourself sound stupid when you say that.
So, do you think she will win the nomination?
Yes. Well, she's definitely going to get out of the committee. It's going to be a party line vote. The question is going to be, are they going to lose any Republican senators when it comes time to do the actual vote?
That's what I meant. Do you think it'll go 52-48?
Murkowski is saying, I'm not voting for her because it's too close to the election and we didn't vote for Merrick Garland 4 years ago.
So 51-49 now.
Susan Collins, who knows, might do the same thing.
So that'd be 50-50, so let's still a win.
Right, because the vice president would break the tie.
So as long as two can change or not abstain. Can you abstain?
No. Usually no. I mean, yeah, you can, but you wouldn't. Now, everyone's always worried about what Mittens Romney is going to do because there's no love lost between him and the president, but even if Mitt Romney wants to be senator again from Utah, he's not going to vote no on a pro-life person.
Right.
Like, he'll be quartered and hung in Utah if he voted no.
Quartered and hung.
So, he's going to vote yes. I mean, is she going to make it? Yes. They say there's enough votes for her to get on the court. And she's going to be wonderful on the court. Again, my opinion. My opinion. So, like I said earlier, I wanted to be done by 8 o'clock because as of, there was supposed to be another debate tonight.
Right.
Round 2 of Biden-Trump. But then Trump got COVID. Biden says, I want the debate to be digital. Trump said no. Debate gets canceled. Good thing the debate got canceled because the moderator just got suspended today from his job for lying. Why did he lie? He got caught on... He was direct messaging Scaramucci, I believe that's how you say, who used to work for Trump, on Twitter, and he accidentally posted his message. And he said that his account was hacked. Well, either late last night or early this morning, he said, all right, I lied, my account wasn't hacked, and he got suspended indefinitely from his job. I believe he worked for the government channel, C-SPAN. The one that, shows everything that goes on with the government. So, last week, ABC came out and said, all right, we're going to do a town hall with Biden at 8 o'clock on Thursday.
Okay.
A couple nights ago, NBC came out and said, we're going to do a town hall with Trump, 8 o'clock Thursday. And literally, you could actually hear it. You're in your underground bunker, so I don't know if you could hear it. As soon as NBC and Trump were together, progressives' heads just went poof and exploded. Now they think NBC's backstabbing America because they're putting Trump on TV.
Okay.
Because that's the big thing this year. The elites think Trump got elected in 2016 because all the news networks were constantly putting him on TV. Constant. That's why you don't see him, all these rallies that he's doing, you don't see them on CNN. You don't see them on MSNBC this year. Fox shows them, but then they break away. C-SPAN shows them. OAN shows them. Right Side Broadcasting shows them. Now, every time I watch one of them, I post the Right Side Broadcasting Network on my Facebook page so you can watch it. They have their own YouTube channel. Good stuff. Good stuff. But yes, so the media this time, the left-wing media, is trying to keep Trump off the airways as much as possible. As much as possible. Because they think, again, that he won in 16 because they were always putting him on the airwaves.
Which was partially true.
Sure, it was. Yeah, it got him, free coverage.
Yeah.
But the question is, why in the world would you vote for an elitist? Now, I'm going to summon my inner FDR here.
Okay.
So you're going to go bye-bye.
Bye.
At least on the screen, you're going to go bye-bye. So, what was FDR known for? FDR was known for his fireside chats. So, we're going to have a little fireside chat tonight on why you would vote for an elitist. How many times, now, I want you to think for yourselves now here. How many times have you in the past thought, said out loud, told your friends, while you were having a bowel movement, while you were in the shower, while you were at work, thinking, God, Washington does nothing for me. Washington is only out for themselves. They're out to make themselves richer. They're only working for themselves. The rich get richer. The rich get more powerful. It's true. It's absolutely true. So why in the world do you want to vote for that again? Why? If I'm going to knock anything into your heads in the next 2.5 weeks before the election, is that President Trump is a populist. A populist. He is for the common man. I don't care that he's a millionaire. I don't care that he's a billionaire. How much better pre-COVID has your life been from when Obama was president? Think to yourselves, has my life been better in the last 3 years? Again, pre-COVID. Or has my life been worse? My life's been a hell of a lot better. I have a shit ton more money in my retirement plan. Thank you, President Trump, because you left the stock market just explode up. Awesome job. Your economic policies have helped to make me money. I make more money now than I ever did in my life. Ever. My 401k looks great. If I was smart, when COVID happened, I could have about another $200,000 right now. Minimum, but I was stupid.
Double.
But I was stupid. Be that as it may. So, seriously, why do you want to vote for an elitist? Normally, when you have the two major party candidates, obviously there's more candidates that run. You normally have elitist on the left versus elitist on the right. Let's look at the election of 2012. Obama versus Romney. Elitist versus elitist. 2008. Romney versus McCain. Elitist versus elitist. 2004. Bush versus Kerry. 2000. Bush versus Gore. 96. Clinton versus Dole. 92. Clinton versus Bush versus Perot. Wasn't an elite. Again, he was rich, but he wasn't a Washington elite. 88. Bush versus Dukakis. Elite versus elite. 84. Reagan versus Mondale. 80. Reagan versus Carter. I could go on and on and on and on and on, all the way back to William Jennings Bryan in the late 1800s. Elite versus elite. Who pays the price? You do. Why in the world do you want an elitist as president when we have a populist as president? Why? Think over the next 2 weeks. This is without a doubt, the most important election in my lifetime. Personally, I believe this will be the last election that I ever have a chance to vote for a populist. I will vote for a populist every time. I don't care what party they're in. A populist will get my vote. Anything who works for the common man will get my vote every time. Are you liking my fireside chat graphic here?
I do like it.
Thank you.
I thought it was funny.
Thank you.
It's cool if you had FDR in the chair and your head was just plopped on top.
I'll have to try to find that. So, ladies and gentlemen, think. You got 2.5 weeks. Think. Do I want a populist or do I want an elitist?
I want a Phatts.
Thank you. If you can't vote for either, write in PA Phatts. That'll work, too. But seriously, do you want someone who works for the common man, or do you want somebody who works for the swamp? Choice is yours in 19 days. Choice is yours. That's our fireside chat for the evening.
Is that going to be a new bit?
It might, when I need it to be. When I need it to be. I thought that was a pretty cool graphic, personally.
That's a cool graphic.
I might have to take a picture of that and post it on Facebook. Phatts Fireside Chats. With fire spelled Phire, of course.
Jesus.
So, by the way, hey, there's a possibility Biden's going to win this election. I don't think he's going to win, but there's a possibility. What's going to happen with Phatts TV if he wins? We're going to obviously become the opposition. I'm going to go on a crusade. I'm going to go on a crusade to have a constitutional convention. Because I think one thing needs to be changed. There's 2 ways to get an amendment on the Constitution. Do you know the 2 ways, non-genetically proven son?
One's with the states.
Yes, convention of the states.
And it's either 66% or 3/4.
3/4.
3/4.
It has to go through the House. It has to go through the Senate. The president... the president doesn't have to sign it, I believe. But then 2/3 of the states, I think it's 2/3 of the states have to approve it. And that could take 200 years if need be. We've already seen that with the 27th Amendment.
Right.
What I'm proposing as a constitutional amendment will never get through Congress. I'm going to tell you this right now. The only way this is ever going to become an amendment is if we have a convention of the states. What we need more than anything in this country, we need congressional term limits. 12 years. You cannot be in the Senate more than 12 years. You cannot be in the House for more than 12 years. Joe Biden was a senator. He got elected in 1972. That was the year I was born. 72.
Every 8 years he goes up for re-election, right?
6.
6.
Six.
Sorry. 6.
So he was a senator from January of 73 through January of 2009 when he became vice president.
Right.
36 years he was a senator. Can you understand why they become elites and they become the swamp? They're there too long. We need more than anything else in this country congressional term limits. And I will go on a crusade, a one Phatts crusade if I have to get a constitutional convention of the states to get that amendment added to our Constitution.
And what makes you think 3/4 of the states would approve that?
Because it's my idea.
You're going to have to get 45 states to approve that.
Really, 3/4 of 50 is 45, huh?
I just think it's 60.
That's that. When he does stuff like this, all I say is like 23 of my chromosomes did not get in there. It's got to be like 27 of his mother's and 23 of my, like 34 or what is it, 46. So like 32 of his mother's and 14 of mine. It's not a perfect balance. For crying out loud.
Sorry. 38.
Ay, 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 ay.
5 will approve it, but none in the Northeast are going to approve it.
I don't know. Who knows?
California's not going to approve it. Oregon's not going to approve it. Washington's not going to approve it. Hawaii's not going to approve it.
Why not? It doesn't mean that.
Because they want that.
It doesn't mean that when their term is up, they have to be replaced by somebody of the other party.
No, but
they just have to be replaced.
To be in the Senate if they're a Democrat for 50 years, because that's what they want.
I'm going on a crusade.
What, are you going to ride a horse around the country?
That's right. That's right.
You want me to bring the coconuts?
Yes. Yes. I'm going on a crusade, going to dress up in my, armor, going to carry the shield with the red cross, because I was a Christian during the Crusades.
All right. And I'm going to be behind you with the coconuts.
Yes.
And then we're going to come upon a bridge where they go, "What is your name?"
Yes. You are my trusted squire.
What is your favorite color? Purple. No, yellow.
What is the capital of Estonia? So let's move on to the Phatts Fantastic Five. Enough about politics for tonight.
Okay.
Let's go to your favorite portion of the week, ladies and gentlemen. The Phatts Fantastic Five.
It is because I keep beating you.
You do. You do. You had another winning week last week.
Make that 5 in a row.
I had another losing week.
Make that 5 in a row.
To recap your picks, you had Oklahoma -2. They won by 3 in 4 overtimes.
Right.
You had Georgia -12.5. They outscored Tennessee by 28 in the second half to win.
Right.
You had Cleveland +2.5 on Sunday over Indy. They played a really good game.
I said they were going to win outright.
So those were your 3 wins. Your 2 losses, you had the over in the Giants-Dallas game.
Yeah, I went over in like the third quarter.
Yeah, you asked me at one point, like, how's it looking? And I said, they already got 40-some points.
Well, I looked, I'm just like, I asked you what it was again, and I thought it was 56.5, but it was 54.5.
Yeah.
Because I thought I could have got a touchdown and a field goal. No, 2 touchdowns, but it was only a touchdown and a field goal I could have.
Yes.
So I thought if it was 2 touchdowns, there was a chance that it could still hit.
Yes. Yes. And you finally lost with Seattle.
I did finally lose to Seattle because they played a horrible defensive.
Who did not cover. They won the game, but they did not cover the 7.
But they played like their defense should play.
The first week I don't go against you on Seattle.
Yeah. It's the week Seattle loses. That's about right.
So you are now 16-9, I believe.
Be up a good amount of money.
Yeah. $100 better, so you'd be $1,600 minus $990, so you'd be up $610 right now.
One of these weeks I'm gonna go 5-0, and you're gonna go 0-5.
My picks, I went 2-3. I had 3 college games. My 2 winners, I had Kansas State plus 7.5. They won outright. I had the over in the Mississippi-Alabama game at over 69.5.
Yeah, basically hit it by halftime.
They, with 6 minutes and 11 seconds to go in the third quarter, that game went over. I think they combined for 111 points in that game.
So that game went over 110.
So I started out 2-0.
Yeah. What about those last 3 games?
Then I had Notre Dame given 20.5. They had the ball inside the 10-yard line late in the fourth quarter, and they tried a bunch of running plays just to run out the clock. Needless to say, they didn't get in the end zone. They got it down to the 3-yard line. Yeah, just my luck. And then on Sunday, I had Jacksonville plus 6.5. They played a horrible game. I had Washington plus 7. They played a horrible game. So as you're 16-9, I believe I'm 9-16. Nice. Nice.
Need a couple 4-1 weeks if you want to catch up.
In my football pool that I run, I am second to last. When usually at this time of the year, I'm second or third.
And you're in what place?
22nd.
Out of?
I said I'm second to last.
Oh, I thought you said 22nd out of 21.
There's that chromosome thing again.
I wasn't listening.
So let's look at the winners' picks for this week. The non-genetically proven son. He's got 2 college games. He's got North Carolina. I believe they're on the road at Florida State, given 13.5. You have Georgia on the road at Alabama, getting 4.
If it was 3, I wouldn't have took it.
In the pros, you have Baltimore going to Philly, giving 7.5.
This will be a slaughter.
You have, interestingly enough, you have all road teams. Interesting. You have Washington on the road at the Giants, getting 3. And you have Green Bay, who's at the moment is -1 on the road at Tampa. So, what makes you like your picks? We'll start with the college games.
North Carolina, well, you told me Florida State can't stop anyone.
Well, let's look. So far, in Florida State's games, as soon as my screen wants to update, they are 2-2, I believe. They're 1-3. They gave up 16 to Georgia Tech, 52 to Miami, 24 to Jacksonville State, and 42 to Notre Dame.
So, yeah, they can't stop anyone.
They can't stop good teams.
And North Carolina's playing good.
Yes, they are.
So, I think since it's under 14, they should be able to cover it.
North Carolina's 3-0. They beat Syracuse 31-6, Boston College by 4, 26-22, and Virginia Tech in a high-scoring game, 56-45.
As long as defense shows up a little bit, they should be fine.
The good thing about, well, North Carolina knows how to move the ball.
Right.
And Florida State gave up 353 yards rushing last week to Notre Dame.
Good.
Georgia, Alabama. What makes you like Georgia getting the 4?
I just watched Alabama give up 40-something to Ole Miss.
Yeah, you did.
Georgia's defense is insanely good, probably one of the best in the country, if not the best.
They're giving up on average 12 points a game.
So I like them to, let's say 12 points. They give up, let's say, about 14. I would have the feeling that they could score 14 or more.
Yes, they've given up 10 to Arkansas, 6 to Auburn, and 21 all in the first half to Tennessee.
So I like them to they might win that game outright.
And, well, also, what was the big news this week?
Saban has COVID.
Saban has COVID.
So if they play, he might be on the sideline. Not on the sideline. He'll be up.
Or he might not even be in the stadium. He might not be allowed. Who knows?
The stadium.
By the way, if ever one of our games gets canceled, we will have a replacement pick up on our Facebook pages, by the way. All right, let's move to the pros. You like Baltimore on the road, giving 7.5 against the hapless Eagles.
Philly can't stop anyone. Nor can they move the ball. So I feel like 7.5 is generous.
Okay.
I thought that line. Once I saw it, I'm like, that was the first game I picked, actually.
Eagles are giving up on average 29 points a game. They gave up 27 to Washington, 37 to the Rams, 23 to Cincinnati, 20 to San Francisco, and 38 to Pittsburgh.
I don't think Philly scores more than 20 in this game. And Baltimore should score more than 30.
Okay. Washington +3 at the Giants.
When I saw this, I was thinking, how in the world, how would this be a pick on a neutral field? Washington is definitely the better team out of the two. And the Giants suck, in other words. So does Washington. That whole division sucks.
No.
But I think Washington's winning this game outright.
Okay. An interesting play for that game, for those of you that bet, might be the under in the first half. The over-under right now is 43, so the over-under first half will be somewhere around 21.5. Washington on their road games average 3.5 points for the first half. The Giants for their home games average 8 points for the first half.
So...
No, that's...
21-24?
Yeah. Yes, because past results are never indicative of future events. And you like Green Bay, given a point at Tampa Bay.
I don't think Tampa's had the time to gel yet. I
Okay.
think it's a little early in the season. I think Tampa's about to start turning it around, but I think Green Bay will be able to come out with like a 3 to 5 point win.
Okay. Well, the good thing, Green Bay always plays very well off of a bye. I believe they've won their last 4. I thought about making this game one of my plays and actually taking Tampa, but I did not make it one of my plays. I'm sure you wish I did because you knew you would win if I did.
Probably.
So let's look at my picks. I, too, have 2 college games and 3 pro games, and we actually do agree on a game.
I actually was going to pick a different game in college. I was going to pick Memphis over UCF.
Uh-huh.
I didn't remember, though, if Memphis, their quarterback last year, either left or graduated. Because I remember he was pretty good. I mean, I watched him put up 30 against Penn State.
Mm-hmm.
Penn State's defense was a top 10 defense in the country.
Mm-hmm.
So I figured if their quarterback was playing, but I didn't know, I would have picked Memphis because they were an underdog in that game.
And you didn't feel like doing any research.
No, I was standing in Target looking at my picks.
Well, I can tell you Memphis is averaging 32 points a game, giving up 27. UCF averages 42 points a game, gives up 28. I can tell you that.
So, whatever you want to take into that.
Yes, without looking in more stuff in detail, I wouldn't know. All right, so let's look at my picks. I have Texas A&M on the road at Arkansas, given 5. You took Georgia. I took the over in the Georgia-Alabama game at 56.5. Similar reasoning. Alabama's defense is not really good this year, but Alabama's offense could score. I see a game probably at least in the mid-60s with the totals.
Okay.
I like Pittsburgh -4 over Cleveland. We'll talk about that a little bit. You and I agree on the Baltimore Ravens -7.5 over the Eagles. And I like Houston, Tennessee over 53.5.
Why do you like that game over?
Well, we'll get to that one last. we'll go right.
It's the only one that confuses me out of these.
What, the last one?
That would end Pittsburgh in a way.
Okay. Well, actually, the Pittsburgh game is really easy. But let's look at Texas A&M and Mississippi. Now, Texas A&M just came off a huge win at home against Florida. Florida was ranked number 4, I believe, last week.
Yeah.
Let's look at Mississippi State, though. Mississippi State...
I thought you said they were playing Arkansas.
Oh, yes. No, I was wrong. They are playing Mississippi State. Auburn is playing Arkansas.
Oh, okay.
My bad. My bad. You are right. I did say Arkansas, but they are playing Mississippi State.
Okay.
Mississippi State is 1-2. Somehow they put up 44 points against LSU.
Yeah.
That shows how bad LSU is.
About to say, LSU's looking meh.
They put up 44 points, but had 9 yards of rushing. And 623 yards of passing.
Damn.
How interesting.
I guess they could pass the ball?
At least that game.
Yeah, at least that game.
Then they went and played Arkansas at home and lost to Arkansas, 21-14. Arkansas. Mississippi State was a 16.5-point favorite in that game. And they lost outright by 7. By the way, they rushed for 87 yards in that game.
I guess they didn't pass for 632 yards.
313.
They only scored 14 points?
Yes. Then they played Kentucky last week. Final score, Kentucky 24, Mississippi State 2. 2. This isn't Canadian football where if you down a punt in the end zone, the other team gets a point. They got a safety in that game. In that game, they had a grand total rushing yards of 21.
And passing of what?
275.
How do you have 275 yards of passing and not get a field goal?
Probably turnovers. I could go back in the stats and see how many times they turned the ball over, but...
If you don't say 3 or more, I'd be shocked.
Yes. Now, I will say, as bad as they run the ball, they're just as good at stopping the run. LSU only ran for 80 yards, Arkansas for 63, and Kentucky for 84.
Okay.
Texas A&M averages about 5 yards a carry. So it'd be interesting to see. I just think I would have thought this line would have been about 7.5. So I think you're getting value at 5.
So Mississippi State's putting up 56. 700 yards of passing. And
no, rushing. Rushing.
700 yards of rushing?
Rushing. Since so far in this season through 3 games, they have 117.
So that means the first 2 drives he'll have 120.
Something like that.
He'll break them from the 20 each time, 80 yards.
Yes. All right, and then I like the over 56.5 in the Alabama-Georgia game. As discussed earlier, Alabama having a hard time stopping people. They gave up 48 last week to Ole Miss, scored 63. That was a fun game to watch. By the way, by game day, by the time kickoff came, the over-under went from 69.5 to 74.5. Ton of money came in on game day. Why? What was going on last week down in Mississippi? Hurricane Delta. Once the weather cleared up, there wasn't going to be any rain. Winds were going to be not bad. Everybody and their brother started betting the over in that game. Georgia, so far, they put up 44 against a stingy Tennessee team last week. Scored 27 against a good defensive Auburn team. Scored 37 against Arkansas.
44 against Tennessee when I thought they lost because they were losing.
Yes. Yes. Now, Alabama, they're averaging their 50 points a game.
Right.
But this year they're averaging giving up, let's see here, about 30 a game right now.
That's not very good.
And that's good defense. Those are 2 inferior teams compared to Georgia.
Slightly.
So I think we're going to see points in the 60s minimum in that game.
Okay.
Pittsburgh, -4. Why do I like the Steelers this week?
Why do you like the Steelers
well,
this week? Are they in Pittsburgh?
The game is in Pittsburgh.
Okay, so what's wrong with one of the Cleveland players that you like Pittsburgh?
Well, glad you asked.
Because I don't know if I actually probably would have took Cleveland if I was assuming if everyone's healthy.
Well, Cleveland's starting running back is still out. What does Cleveland do very well? They run the ball.
They run the ball.
They run the ball. Their starting running back is out. Let's look at so far their yards on the ground. 138, 215, 158, 307, and 124.
Okay, those are good.
Yeah.
Solid.
What has Pittsburgh given up? 29, 104, 29, and 94. The 94 was to the Eagles, and if anybody watched that game, Miles Sanders broke like a 74-yard run in that game.
Right.
So you take that run out, and the Eagles had 20 yards of rushing.
Right.
Pittsburgh, I believe, is the number 2 ranked rushing defense in the NFL.
Who's won?
I don't know, without looking. Pittsburgh also is averaging at the moment 5 sacks a game. That is unheard of in the NFL. Unheard of. That is a huge number of sacks. Now, quarterback, Cleveland. Very late in that game last week, he got hit in his ribs.
Right.
After that, he only attempted 1 pass after that. Right. And he winced in pain. Now, I've never bruised ribs. They did x-ray him after the game, and he did not have cracked ribs. But I've talked to people before who have bruised ribs. They say it hurts just to breathe when you have bruised ribs.
Uh-huh.
Think, if it hurts for your chest to expand, how the hell are you going to turn and throw a football accurately without pain? Now, granted, they can knock them up with painkillers.
Yeah.
But I think the fact that Pittsburgh stops the run very well and they know how to get pressure on the quarterback is going to make a long day for the Cleveland Browns.
Fair enough.
Fair enough. Thank you. Baltimore. I agree with what you said, basically. There was one other thing I did want to say on that game. Oh, yes. Baltimore tends to cover over the last season and a half every game they play except when they play Kansas City. And then one game against Tennessee.
Because they play like crap against Kansas City.
Yes. Yes. So far, let's just look at this year. They beat Cleveland by 32. The line was 7. They beat Houston by 17. The line was 7. They lost to Kansas City. They beat Washington by 14. The line was 14. When we played it, it was still 13.5. Last week, they beat Cincinnati by 24, and the line was 12. Listen to what I just said, though, in that game. The line was 12 in that game. Right. Didn't Cincinnati just tie the Eagles a couple weeks ago at Philly?
Yeah.
And Baltimore's only given Philly 7.5? You're telling me that Philly is a 5-point better team right now than Cincinnati?
No.
No, they're not.
I feel like if Philly played Cincinnati 10 times, they probably would win 6, maybe?
Maybe.
5 or 6.
Maybe.
But that's about what they're going to get.
Yes.
And Cincinnati's not good.
No.
Not yet.
No.
Maybe a few years.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I mean, realistically, the Eagles could be 0-5 right now.
Which would be amazing.
It would be. All right. Houston and Tennessee. So you wanted to know why I like the over in this game.
Yeah, why do you like the over? Unless you expect Tennessee to put up 40.
Well, I do expect Tennessee to score some points. But
wonderful.
What happened? I know you don't follow football all that close. First off, let's remember who Houston has played so far.
Baltimore, Kansas City, Pittsburgh.
Minnesota and Jacksonville. Okay. They did put up 23 against Minnesota. They gave up 31. Tennessee beat Minnesota 31-30. But Houston fired their coach, former Penn State coach.
Yeah, it wasn't that good.
I believe he got replaced with Romeo Crennel. The first thing Romeo Crennel is saying, we're going to get rid of this ticky-tack offense that we have, and we're going to open up the playbook and throw down the field more. Ergo, you're going to score more points. They put up 30 against Jacksonville last week. Now, Tennessee runs the ball very well. They rushed for 130, 123, 134, 139. They've scored, other than the first game at Denver, which to play early in the season at Denver is very tough because you have to go up into that altitude. But after that, they scored 33, 31, 42. So if I get even 35 in that game, all I need is Houston to score 19. And in those last 3 games, Tennessee has given up 30, 30, and 16. Plus, they just played on Tuesday. And they're turning around and playing again on Sunday. To me, all of those things favor a high-scoring game.
Okay.
So I think we're looking at least 58 points in that game.
I'm thinking 5-2.
5-2.
We're going to do a soccer.
Somebody getting a 3-run homer in the bottom of the 9th?
Right.
Yes.
Just like how the Braves gave up, what was it, 11?
11 in the first day yesterday.
Which is a record. Playoff record.
So let's recap. The non-genetically proven Sun is North Carolina minus 13.5, Georgia plus 4, Baltimore minus 7.5, Washington plus 3, Green Bay minus 1. I have Texas A&M minus 5, the over in the Georgia-Alabama game at 56.5, Pittsburgh at 4, Baltimore given 7.5, and the over in the Tennessee-Houston game at 53.5, and it is now 7:57. We got 3 minutes. Closing remarks. Sun.
I'm going 3-2 or 4-1. You're going 2-3.
Or 1-4.
Pretty much.
Thank you. Thank you for your...
Eventually, I'm going to just put like $10 on a game, and I'm going to get crushed.
Yes.
That's why I'm just not doing it.
Smart. Smart move. All right, ladies and gentlemen. You guys have a happy and healthy weekend in whatever you do. I'm going to give you as a task for this weekend. Get somebody, convince them to vote, and get them to come watch Phatts TV on Tuesday.
And look at this cool Trump $100 bill.
Oh, yeah, I wanted to bring that up. We'll talk about that stuff on Tuesday. Remind me, I want to talk about that on Tuesday.
Okay.
All right, for all of us here at Phatts TV, have a safe, happy, healthy weekend. And remember, where we go, one,
we go all.
see you, ladies and gentlemen.